Good morning and welcome to another devotion. I woke up this morning thinking about joy. I wonder, how's your joy quotient these days? To be honest, one of the first things that gets squeezed out of my life when I get busy and sometimes a little bit overwhelmed is my experience of joy. I can still search for it, but I'm usually doing it by picking up what's easiest and what's closest. And for me lately, that's been watching movies or watching TV shows. And to be perfectly honest, those things don't really bring me very much joy. They're a distraction temporarily, but they don't really result in any kind of joy. What about you? What's your joy quotient been like these days? We just finished having breakfast here, and I made pancakes because, in my experience, pancakes sometimes result in a little bit more of a joyful morning. Eating our pancakes reminded me of a time a couple of years ago when I decided, for a couple of reasons, health reasons, and just maybe taking care of myself, and also to see if I could do it, where I gave up eating refined sugar for about 2 months or so. I didn't have any kind of sweetener in my coffee or in my tea. I stopped eating stuff like syrup. Even when we had pancakes, I would just have them plain. And for a little while, it was really difficult because sugar is a powerful food, and my body was screaming out for, oh, couldn't we have some sugar, please? But you know what happened after about 2 weeks or so was that those cravings for sugar kind of went away, and everything else started to taste really, really sweet. Like, for instance, I remember eating an apple and thinking, I've never tasted how sweet an apple is before. And a banana the same way. The simple foods that have a lot of sugar in them, like fruits, started tasting incredibly sweet. I wonder if that's a little bit like what joy is like. Let me try and explain what I mean. If we consistently look for distractions, maybe that's a little bit like reaching for the bottle of syrup or the bowl of sugar. If we're continually reaching for what's easy and entertaining and really eye-catching, for instance, for me, it's been watching movies or escaping into that fantasy of another world. If we're continually reaching for what's easy, maybe our experience in life just kind of acclimatizes to this distracted, fast-paced, somewhat elusive, joyless existence. I know I'm searching for words a little bit, but what I'm wondering is, if we were to fast from all of those exciting distractions, like when I stopped eating refined sugar, I wonder if our experience of just the simple things in life might become a little more joyful. If going for a walk might seem like a really, really amazing experience. If talking to a friend on the phone might seem like a joy-bringing experience. I wonder, I'm going to challenge you to take me up on an experiment here. Scriptures talk a lot about joy. For example, in Psalm 21, verse 6, it reads, "For you make him most blessed forever. You make him glad with the joy of your presence." This is a psalm that's talking about the king and about whoever trusts in the Lord and their experience of the joy of God's presence. One of the most unfortunate stereotypes about Christianity is that it's a religion of sour-faced, joyless discipline. That we are somehow missing out on life, or that the world might be chasing after joy, but we're chasing after something else. It's absolutely false. And the scriptures point again and again that true joy is to be found in Jesus, in the presence of God, in his company, in his fellowship. And this is my prayer for you, that your experience of life these days would be full of God's joy, true joy, and that you'd be able to notice God's joy in your life, and that you can pray for me that I would be noticing God's joy in my life too. So here's to joy today, the joy of Jesus' work in our lives, and may your experience of that joy increase. We'll see you next week.